Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Philippa and this is my podcast where I talk about what I'm knitting, what I have been knitting, what I like to be knitting, all that kind of good stuff, as well as some other bits and bobs as well. Kip is of course pottering about by my feet. It's actually been 4 weeks. I'm on track for my podcast schedule, which is completely made up and obviously only me to be held accountable, but 4 weeks is what we're aiming for. I'm here. So I hope you're all well, enjoying the slightly cooler weather we are now. I'm not going to say autumn is here, but it definitely feels like it's in the air, doesn't it? We're getting there. So yes, I actually have a what I'm wearing for you today. If you have watched probably 3 of my last podcasts, you will have known I've been knitting on the Lunan Tee by Rebecca Clow. It's finished. I'm not going to go into too much detail now because I will talk about it more in finished objects, but first wear today. I love her. Yeah, a labour of love for sure. But speaking of finished objects, let's get started. Right, as I said, first finished object is the Lunan Tee in the 4-ply round neck version. This is by Rebecca Clow of the Cray. If you've been watching for probably the last 2 or 3 podcasts, you will know it's been a labour of love, but she is finished. I cast it on the 24th of May 2026 and bound off on the 15th of August. So still relatively quick knit really, but I'm not gonna lie, it felt like a slog at times. So it is a 3x1 rib short sleeve tee. I will put in an overlay of so you can get a bit more of an idea because it's hard to show on here. I knit in a size 2 with a 2.75mm needle, which is what's recommended for the pattern, and then a 2.5 for the collar, and then all the other ribbing. I knitted as pattern, sleeve length, recommended length. I didn't make any modifications there. I generally found the pattern okay. There were some bits with the increases where it could have been quite confusing, but because I know what 3x1 rib looks like, I could work it out. If it was a more complicated pattern, maybe could have been a bit more confusing, but generally was all good. I used Yarnsmiths Merino sock in the colour 274, which is strong blue. I bought 3 of these. They're 100 grams. I used just under 2, so I didn't need to buy this one, but I also didn't want to. You don't want to run out, do you? She's comfy, she's so soft. Highly recommend the Yarnsmiths a Merino sock. So yeah, that is a Lunan Tee. Done! And I never really wear blue, so a bit out of my comfort zone, but I actually quite like it. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. So I'm pretty sure I hadn't cast these on last time I spoke to you. So these are a pair of socks for Rob. They're very much sisters, not twins. Ooh! Hold the line. I could have tried to pattern match. I didn't want to try. I would prefer them to match, but then I don't have to wear them. But yes, I used a Schoppel-Wolle Crazy in the shade 3292. Really lovely yarn. It was so fun to see how it changed. I'll just hold one up. They aren't blocked yet, so excuse the crumpledness. But yeah, for Rob I tend to do a 64 stitch on a 2.25mm needle. I use the short circulars. Really lovely. I think it's going to soften up beautifully. Look at those colours. So lovely. And I have, I believe this used about 70 grams, so I have a good amount left. So yeah, they're just a vanilla sock pattern. Bit warm for them still, but very much ready for boots and things in the autumn and winter. So yeah, those are for Rob and they are all finished. Okay, I have another pair of socks that I have finished, which were a very special knit for me. They were to wear for a wedding to a very good friend, which was a few weeks ago. By chance, I had this yarn in stash and they just matched my shoes so well. We went for colourful Vans because it was a colourful wedding. They are in the wash, which was bad planning on my part, so I will put a photo here so you can see. The yarn is a Birdstreet yarn, neon nep, Donegal sock base. So lovely. The shade was Miami. And then the, excuse me, around the top I just did, I just cast on with leftovers of the Pick and Mix Mini from Lay Family Yarn in colour 1, which was left over from some other socks I did, and it was just perfect. They were so comfy. I was a bit worried about the neon neps, all the dancing and being around, and it was a boiling hot day, but they were fine. They were absolutely fine. They were comfortable, kept my feet, I wasn't too hot, they were great. So again, sorry, bad planning, they were in the wash, but I will have put a photo here. They were, again, just a vanilla sock pattern I did as super shorts. Really lovely. And I will think of my friend and their wedding every time I wear them. So yeah, that's another finished object. I think I knit those up in a week because it was a very spur of the moment, last minute decision when I realised that they would go with my shoes so well. So yeah, highly recommend the yarn too. It was my first Birdstreet yarn and really, really lovely. Yeah, so I have one more sock to show you. I had shown you this one last time. I had only knitted the first one. This is my own design. This is the Lay Family Yarn Pick and Mix Mini shade 1 that I was talking about for the previous socks, and the main colour that's on the heel and the rest of the sock is the Lay Family Yarn Iron Bridge colourway. So I have now finished the second sock. Sorry, I have a bit of a croaky voice. So yeah, I'm so pleased with these. This is a 68 stitch sample, and again, this one is not blocked, but it is done. It is done. And I've been having so much fun with this pattern, which I will show you later on in whips. But yeah, so yeah, third pair of socks finished since the last podcast, so that's pretty good going, isn't it? Two of which weren't really planned, but that's always how it happens, isn't it? I don't know about you, but if you're a sock knitter, you always have to have a sock on the go. It's just perfect for taking around, isn't it? And working on, especially if it's a vanilla sock. I think that's why the ones I have finished for Rob were so much fun, because although it was just a vanilla sock, that colour change, like constant or almost colour change with the Zauberball was really good. So yeah, that is all of my finished objects for this time. I have a fair few whips. Too many whips? Who could say? But let's move on to whips. Right, I was trying to think where's best to start with Whip wise, as I say, there's a fair few. But as I just mentioned, my Colourwork Socks, I thought I'd show you another idea I've had to use the stitch pattern. So I really wanted to cast on a cowl. I'm always dropping the yarn. So this is, excuse the curling at the beginning there, but this is a cowl I have cast on with a provisional cast on, and I've delved into my scrap stash. I'm so excited for this. I really liked the idea of each sort of arrow as such, round of them being in a different colour. I thought, oh, it could maybe work well for scraps or an advent, or so many possibilities. You could have one colour going throughout, you could swap things around, you could have a faded yarn. Yeah, I really wanted to try, so I've cast this on with a 2.75mm needle. And yeah, so far each coloured section is taking about 2 grams of sock weight 4-ply yarn. So serious stash busting possibilities. But yeah, as I say, so not long started, but really enjoying it so far. What do you think? I'm really excited. But yeah, so hopefully by the next time it'll be easier to see because there'll be more length to it. But yeah, just gonna knit a big tube and then graft it together and see where we're at. So yeah, that's my design idea. Exciting. I am using Yarnsmiths Merino sock again for the base in this Graphite shade 3. So I thought it would really help any of the scraps to stand out. But yeah, I will list all of the colours I've used on the Ravelry page. But yeah, more news as we get it. Next up is a long-term ongoing whip. You will have seen this lots of times. That is so bright. You will have seen this quite a few times. I started this probably nearly 2.5 years ago. This is my Coziest Memories blanket by Kemper. I believe it's a free pattern. I am basically adding in a scrap, not scraps, but leftovers of any 4-ply projects that I have made. Put a stitch marker here last time. I've added, nope, this way, 3 since then. So yeah, t-shirt, Rob's socks, and my socks. Oh, there we go. You can see the socks that I had made that are in the wash. So organised and professional. I will put an overlay so you can see a bit more. But yeah, that's one more to finish the row. It's coming along nicely. I really love it. Really love it. In fact, I might put her behind me for the rest of the podcast. It's better. We have a bit of colour behind us. As soon as I started podcasting, all of the dogs on the road started barking. Delivery drivers, door slamming, car alarms. Classic. So apologies if there's any that I haven't managed to edit out. Right. The next whip is a new cast on. Wasn't the cast on that I was expecting to have shown you. If you saw my knitting vlog, which I posted last week, I think it was last Tuesday, you will know that I have been on a bit of a journey, a bit of a roller coaster with this yarn, and nothing wrong with the yarn is beautiful. The yarn in question is the West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Bluefaced Leicester DK base in Umber, it's upside down, 1037. It's beautiful. It's lovely rusty brown colour. Yes, if I won't go on about it too much. If you watch my vlog, you will know that I had a bit of I had planned to cast on the kip sweater by Rebecca Clow, but I had so many issues with it. I decided to do something else and maybe come back to it at another time. But this yarn I had bought, as I said on the vlog, it's a commercial yarn. It's not cheap to buy a sweater's quantity. So I wanted to really love the project. So we've pivoted. I decided to cast on the Midland Cardigan by Laura Penrose. I will put a photo here. I have had this in my queue for a long time. I feel like Laura suggests using like a really woolly yarn for it. So this West Yorkshire Spinners is perfect for it. I was chatting from Emily of Emily Knits about it the other day, and she had also fancied trying it. So of course we immediately decided to cast on at the same time. She's actually using I think it's a John Arbon yarn, very similar colour, maybe a bit more chocolatey brown, I believe. So yeah, we decided to cast on together. It is, well, I'll show you. Let me see. I haven't got quite does anybody ever have a long enough cable? Which is the right side? This is the right side. So it's slightly different construction in that you knit it sideways. So this will be the shoulder. It has this beautiful faux shoulder seam, and then so you knit across. There's a couple of options. You can either do a seamed version or a non-seamed version. I am doing the seamed version because I was getting myself in a flap, so we're going for the seamed version. It's so beautiful and squishy. Garter stitch, so the joy of a cardigan with no purling. I've not knitted a cardigan before. My very first cardigan. It's beautiful. I really feel like I've made the right decision. I am making the size 1, and yeah, with the same with the recommended needle size, which Laura got gauge on, which was 4.5mm. It's so lovely. Look at those colours. So squishy. It's knitting up so fast. I think I cast it on, what day are we? Tuesday. I think I cast it on Saturday, maybe Friday. And I've knitted on other things in between. It's knitting up really fast. As you're knitting sideways rather than down or up, the row gauge is more important than the stitch gauge with this one. So yeah, it's progressing. I'm really excited to have this in my wardrobe and get this yarn used. I purchased this from one of my local-ish yarn shops, which is Pearl and Jane in Skipton. It's a lovely shop if you are in the area. Yeah, so yeah, that's my progress on the Midland cardigan. It's so pretty, squishy, and such an autumnal colour. Definitely feel like I've made the right decision switching projects with this one. So yeah, I'm excited to knit some more on it later. I have another cast on because of course I needed another one. Can you ever have too many? 4.5mm needles is probably one of the largest needle sizes I've knit on before until my next project. So yeah, let's have a look at that one. Okay, so my last but one video was my charity shop yarn bargains, which I will link up here if you haven't seen it. And I've been desperate to cast something on from it. I actually decided to sell on the Plutalope because I was looking into it and I just, somebody else could have a bargain and the joy of using that yarn, because I just don't think it was going to be for me. But you know, maybe another time. But I really wanted to, well, this was probably the biggest bargain, the CaMaRose Snefnug in the colour Burnt Orange 7887. It's so soft. I do think it's the softest yarn I've ever used. I decided to cast on the Amiata sweater by Sophie of the Knit Pearl Girl. I'll put a photo. For some reason I really struggle with getting the name of that sweater right. I've called it Amiata, Amiata sweater. It is a bulky sweater, which the main needle is a recommended 8mm. I do not have an 8mm. I had a 6mm, but I am quite a loose knitter, and I believe the original sample was knit holding, it says a bulky yarn. Overall it's a bulky weight garment. This is classed as a bulky, but I believe this sort of yarn was also held with a lace weight, which I didn't really want to do. So I thought, right, considering I've got looser gauge and I'm not holding anything with it, I will see what happens with a 6mm, which I did, and I got gauge. Did I then realise that I'd had to borrow some of, my husband had some 6mm needles from a previous project. I had got gauge on those. Did I then, excuse me, did I then realise that I needed shorter, smaller circumference? Yes, I did. So I had to order some needle tips, but that was fine. I got them from the lovely Tribe Yarns and they came super quickly. So yeah, let me show you. I cast this on last night and I am already almost at the point of splitting for sleeves, so it is knitting up super fast. I have never knit on anything this chunky before. I have lost my beginning of round marker. Where have you gone? Show me that somewhere. Okay, I also, it's a bit chaotic, I'm sorry. So I also could do with a longer cable. They're all currently in use, but I will soon be splitting for sleeves, so it'll be fine. But to get the idea of the fabric, I have done the short rows and some of the raglan increases. You can at least get an idea of the colour and the fabric. Super soft and cozy. I quite like that it's a bit more of a drapier gauge. That'd be really nice, like under dungarees or something, in the cooler months. But yeah, it's knitting up really beautifully, so soft. I'm always a bit daunted by short rows, but yeah, it was fine. I got through them fine first time. Also, there was a different sort of short row which I hadn't done on the Midland Cardigan before, and it was fine. See, we can do hard things. So yeah, I am going to continue with this. Hopefully we'll manage, or I can always get another longer cable or do some switching around of things. But Amiata 2.0 sweater is on the needles. Very autumnal with my colours for this podcast. Midland with the rusty brown, and then the lovely burnt orange. So squishy. But yeah, it's getting there. Found my stitch marker. Oh god, yarn everywhere. So I think that is everything I have to show you for this time. I feel like I've zoomed through it, but when I'm editing, I'm sure I will think I've rambled on. I have rambled on. So yeah, other bits and bobs. I don't really have any acquisitions apart from, like I say, my needle tips for my interchangeable needle set for the Amiata sweater. But what else have I got to tell you? At the time of recording, I am hoping to get to a local stitch club for to me, which is the Hyde Park Stitch Club in Leeds. I have a few Instagram friends that are hopefully going to be there too, so I'm excited slash a bit nervous to meet them in person, but you know, you're going to get on when you're all knitting and crocheting, etc. So that'll be fun. And Yarndale, I have decided to go to my first ever yarn festival, yarn show, and I've chosen potentially the biggest and most hectic one ever. I have had people saying, oh, it's quite intense for your first one, but going on the Sunday, a friend is coming as well. We're going to go prepared. I've had some excellent advice and tips from Rachel at this Knitty Live, Emma, Yarn and Glitter, Sam, Rayner. I'm prepared with all of the tips as much as possible. And also, you know, hopefully the Sunday will be slightly calmer. And if I attend any other ones afterwards, hopefully they will all feel calm and yeah. It'll be all right. It's so close to me. I'm not far from Skipton. I'm going prepared with a list of potential projects that I might want to make and what amount of yarn I'd need, maybe what sort of thing I would be looking at. Yeah, we will see. Worst case, we'll wander around, look at a load of nice yarn and pet some sheep, which isn't a bad Sunday, is it? So yes, if you would like to see more updates sooner, you can follow me on Instagram, where I'm also at One Knitter and Her Dog, and on Ravelry also One Knitter and Her Dog. I will put them here. If you've enjoyed the video and you would well, if you'd like to like and subscribe, that would be lovely if you aren't already. I hope you are enjoying any knitting projects you have on the go at the moment. I'd love to know what you're working on as well. Apologies if there's any more noise outside. I'm going to go get another cup of tea and get editing and work out what projects I want to take to Stitch Club later. I hope I'll be turning up with a huge rucksack. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!